Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we are going to be doing part 3 of kind of explaining how these high-risk, high-level, vehicle-based business ventures could work in Grand Theft Auto Online. And as we all know, it's kind of scheduled to be the next Grand Theft Auto Online DLC that should be coming out fairly soon. So in parts 1 and 2, we looked at how the vehicles could work on sort of an exporting level, which is really awesome. We looked at how they could work on some tractor trailers, on 18-wheelers, and big rigs. Kind of part 2, we looked at how the exporting system itself could work, as well as some other options that involved other trailers in the cargo system. And today, what we're going to be talking about are some more examples of those, but also a new class of vehicles as well that I think could actually work pretty cool for a DLC like this. So I'll leave a link to everything that I'm talking about in the description. I want to re-emphasize once again that this is just a concept, but it does give us a great idea of how this could work in Grand Theft Auto Online, because once again, Rockstar have only given us about one sentence of what this DLC's description is. So we're kind of having to, figure out what this is, kind of based off of what we know so far. And keep in mind, Rockstar have only really given us one sentence of a description on how this DLC is going to work. So we don't have a lot to go off of, but based off of previous things we know about in Grand Theft Auto 5, we should have a pretty good idea of how it might ultimately work. So one thing I didn't point out in my first video was the fact that this one mod I was using actually allows me to switch between different types of trailers. So I can actually choose between like a packer, a phantom, and a hauler. And on its own, that's not necessarily that important, but what is actually cool is the fact that the creator of this concept, XXII, who I'll leave a link to in the description, has kind of given us some more examples of how maybe customization of big rig style vehicle exporting trucks like this could work. So on the screen right now, I'm going to show you guys some new examples, various sizes and values to take mini or few vehicles, light and heavy. This first example right here is kind of your basic car hauling trailer. You can see the multiple different levels where you can get a vehicle on top, what looks to be 2 or 3 on the bottom, very similarly to the one that we have right now in game. That's kind of your standard hauling medium-sized supercars and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. The next one is more of like a flatbed style design, which could hold 2 or 3 cars, but would probably be more useful for one larger vehicle. Let's say something alongside of the Insurgent, or maybe even a Rhino tank, if that was indeed the thing you were going to be exporting. Moving on to the third design, this one is kind of a more closed off interior, very similar to like a larger box truck. And what's actually funny about this is a long time ago, I don't know how many of you guys remember this or were subscribed to me then, but we had a series on my channel called Heist Life or Heist Prep. And in one of those episodes, we actually did something similar to this, where we were simulating exporting supercars inside of a vehicle like this, inside of a truck, to get it out to kind of like the black market. I'll show you guys kind of that moment right now. It was kind of funny and cool for the time.
All right, hurry up, Austin, get in. Come on.
Go.
Come on, Austin, hurry up.
Hurry up.
We're both in here, dude.
All right, I'm coming. I'm right here.
Hit it.
Hurry
Looks
up.
like the cops are off of me. Looks like the cops are off of me so
That's
far.
okay.
All right, jump in. Let's go.
Hit the ramp.
Uh-oh.
The ramp.
You
This
guys are like
car's in the way.
sideways. What the
We're in
heck's
the middle
going
of the
on?
lane. What do you?
What the heck's
Go,
going on? You guys are floating. I can't get in because
Yeah,
it's
you
not.
can.
What
Hit the
heck?
ramp.
Hold on. Slow down.
So you can see, not that we were predicting the future or anything like that, but that idea is very similar, and we did kind of act that out and reenact it. And once again, that was a lot of fun. I'm sure some of you guys will ultimately remember that. We've got 2 more examples to look at right here, and we've got one more example right here. This one is kind of a modified red version of the one we have in game right now, and it also brings up kind of a larger idea of being able to customize these trailers in general, designing them with various colors, various upgrades. Like, let's say, for example, you could put defense systems on this, or even armor defenses, or even attacking upgrades that you could put on there, like a minigun or a turret. We'll kind of explain that a little bit later, but those are some modifications, various sizes and values of the trailers themselves. And on the trailers themselves, we're obviously assuming that there's going to be some valuable vehicle. And when you think of valuable vehicle, your mind automatically jumps to supercar. But what if Rockstar has another idea? What if they want to jump to another category of vehicles? Because the supercars are rare, but there really isn't anything special to them. If we're going to be exporting vehicles, shouldn't they be of like the 1% rarest of all time. And that's where I'm thinking they might make another class of vehicle, something maybe like exotic. Now, I'm not sure if Rockstar would introduce these vehicles into the game for us to be driven or if they would be for exporting only, but I'm actually going to show you guys some examples of how they could actually work right now. So this first vehicle is the BF Injection Monster, and you can see from this concept it is in the exotic class. And if you guys know the BF Injection, it's that kind of off-road buggy car, and now this has been turned into a beefier kind of muscly vehicle. You can see the engine right there with those pipes, those ram air pipes. That looks awesome. The grill itself a lot more muscly. The wheels, just such a beefier looking car. So that's one example of an exotic export that we could do right there, the BF Injection Monster. If we move on to another vehicle, we have the Monroe Arton RS, which is an export. Again, this looks to be a modified version of the Monroe, obviously, and that's cool. If Rockstar didn't want to introduce new cars in the game, what they could do is offer, I guess, exotic versions of previous vehicles. So they might not even have to have a new name. They could just be the BF Injection Exotic or the Monroe Exotic, and those would be the vehicles that you import and you export. And obviously, I'm not sure what Rockstar would do to them, whether it be adding more customization or adding better performance. I think that would mess up so much stuff, but I think they might be able to do it. So those are two examples right there. If we move on to another one, we can see this one, which is the Pfister Neptune 01 supercar. This one's pretty cool because we don't have many Pfister vehicles in the game, and obviously this one is very unique. So this would be one of the examples where Rockstar would introduce a new vehicle into the game. This one is in the supercar class, not necessarily that made-up exotic class. So that vehicle looks really, really awesome, if I do say so myself. And finally, last but not least today, we have another supercar, the Albany Delta T800. This one's unique. It's in the supercar class, but it honestly looks like a modified version of the Dune buggy. It looks to obviously be a little bit more armorized. As you can see, it has metal plating on there. And of course, it has that giant minigun turret at the top too, which makes it very, very unique. So that would obviously be a very cool look for a vehicle, especially for a super one. And the minigun on top has actually sparked another idea. So we need to kind of look at what Rockstar have described this update as. They describe it as an get ready for high-level, high-risk, high-reward, vehicle-based business ventures coming to Grand Theft Auto Online, Blaine County, and Los Santos soon. So there's a couple things that we have to keep in mind here. The first one is high level. You know, is Rockstar going to lock this off to certain levels in Grand Theft Auto Online? If you guys remember, just a couple weeks ago, Rockstar kind of did a promotion where they gave away $1 million if you reached a certain rank. I wonder if that was them testing the water and kind of preparing us for the fact that, hey, you might need to be above a certain level because coming forward, there's going to be a DLC that requires you to be over a certain level. Now, I would find that hard to believe that they would lock really like free roam missions or money-making opportunities to a certain level, but you never know. They've kind of done that in the past with vehicles before and other content as well, so it wouldn't totally surprise me. The other concept was high risk. So obviously, I'm going to guess that this is going to be done in public lobbies, which means you'll not only have to deal with other players, but I would imagine they would increase the NPC risk as well, whether that means involving the FIB, the police, or other rival gangs that are interested in intercepting your high-end supercars that you're exporting. I guarantee you that there's going to be a risk of you putting in a lot of money and not getting anything out, very similar to how it works with the CEO and the biker stuff. And the second to last bit of that was high reward. I thought we were making a lot of money with the CEO and biker stuff, so I wonder what Rockstar considers very high reward. Could this mean multiple millions of dollars? That'll be something that will be very interesting to take a look at as we get more information about this supposed update. And obviously the last bit of information they provide is the fact that, like the Bikers update, this one is probably going to take place 50% in the city and 50% in Blaine County. I think it would be a little strange to be trying to export vehicles that you only drove around in the city. There's just too many great places in Blaine County and Sandy Shores and Paleto Bay that would work really well for what the rig we've got going on right now, which is obviously this big 18-wheeler car hauling machine right here. But obviously, and as I've touched on in previous videos, that might not be the final kind of level of evolution as far as our exporting abilities. We might have to start out small with a single trailer. We might have to move on to vehicles like this. I showed you guys some of these examples in the first video we did, but these are like individual car carrying brigades that you could almost bring. and they look to be like a more armored, enhanced version of a one-car hauling system. So maybe you could work your way up to that, to the 18-wheeler I'm in right now. And then if you like wanted to upgrade all the way, maybe you would get something along the lines of a cargo plane, which is something we touched on in the video the other day as well. And this individual has also created some concept artwork for the update itself. And you can see it does feature I guess an armored supercar, that one that we saw in the other screenshot, and then this big truck right here, which is hauling it away. So that's actually really cool. And I think this update is going to be really cool. Now, obviously, we don't know all the details of it. We don't know if it's going to be exporting supercars or importing cars and then breaking them down and selling them. But from Rockstar's loan description and from what we know so far in Grand Theft Auto 5, it kind of looks like that's going to be the case. Because if you think about it, there was about 10 missions completely dedicated to this in Grand Theft Auto 5 that involved Devin Weston. Do you guys remember as Michael, Franklin, and Trevor? You, like I said, literally spent about 8 to 10 missions gathering cars for him. And then there was an entire mission dedicated to doing exactly what we've done in the gameplay, which is loading them up on a truck and then selling them or getting them to a buyer or a drop-off position, and that's how you would make your money. I think that all the pieces are there too, especially now after the biker update, which essentially took everything good from the CEO update, and I would imagine that this update is going to do the exact same thing here, where instead of like a CEO office or a biker clubhouse, so instead of owning something like a CEO office or a biker clubhouse, maybe what you could own is something like a chop shop, which is kind of what we looked at in the first episode of this series as well, looking at some of the more popular chop shop body repair places in the city. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. What do you think of a lot of the examples we looked at today? How do you think this DLC is ultimately going to work? Do you think it's going to work exactly like I'm describing it? Do you think there's going to be some changes? Or do you think Rockstar is going to go in a totally different direction? Basically, at the bottom line, I think it's going to be just a huge upgraded version of the Simeon buying and selling stuff with a ton of other different variables. But I think at the core, that's kind of what it's going to boil down to. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. If you did go on to enjoy the video, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.